Hey guys, what is up? I am your host, Keisha, and welcome to today's podcast, Conversations with Keisha. Today, I am joined by my lovely guest, Dr. Milady Murphy. She is a founder of the Shelton State Wellness Center, and she's also one of my former professors, like from a really, really long time ago. But that's neither here nor there. So I will let her say her hello.
Hey, Keisha. So nice to hear you. Thank you for inviting me on your podcast.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be today. So today we are going to be, hold on. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about managing our health and wellness in this high stress and high strong environment. There are so many things going on today with this fast paced environment that kind of makes our health a little bit more challenging. But Dr. Murphy here is going to help us with those challenges. By the way, guys, if I did not mention, we are at the Heritage House Coffee Shop in Northport, Alabama. So they were so gracious to allow us to come to their facilities to record today's podcast. So
what a great environment to do this, huh? And truly relax to have a conversation, Keisha.
It is.
It's wonderful.
I wish I could drink coffee though, but that's maybe one day.
Yes, or tea.
I can
drink water. It's all good.
Yeah, I can drink tea. Certain kinds of tea. But we're going to go ahead and get started with our first question.
Okay.
I want to know, since you are an expert in all things health and wellness, can you tell the people, in your opinion, what is wellness to you and how do you incorporate it into your everyday life?
Keisha, that's an excellent question because there are so many interpretations of wellness.
Okay.
My interpretation was based on a medical model that I researched many years ago in creating the wellness movement and the wellness program at Shelton State Community College.
Okay.
Looking at corporate wellness, looking at university wellness programs at that time, and very few community college wellness programs at that time. There was an underlying theme on the successful types of wellness programs that made it in their academic environment or their business environment.
Okay.
And it was based on exercise science.
Okay.
Nutrition for disease prevention.
Okay.
And stress management techniques.
Okay.
And I looked at the medical model at that time in the 1980s of a renowned cardiologist. His name is Dr. Dean Ornish. He has written several books on reversing heart disease. And recently, he and his wife did another book called Undo It, where they not only talk about, and he primarily about, reversing the disease process through wellness in those areas, exercise science, nutrition, and stress management. They also provide menus. But that's how I started the wellness program at Shelton State, based on Dr. Ornish's lifestyle studies of exercise science, nutrition for the prevention of disease, and stress management. And so we built the curriculum, the academic curriculum, based on that. Okay. And so when I work with corporations as well, we took those elements in helping them provide wellness programs for their employees. And the successful wellness programs take those elements and design it within their structure, within their staff, and their availability of facility and programming and people that are credentialed in those areas.
So if I worked for my employer and they had maybe a program that they would cover, that we can go and exercise or get, kind of maybe some therapy or something like that. So is that kind of
Oh,
what that is?
absolutely. I mean, a lot of the corporations, for example, love their walking programs. They have realistic walking programs. They also have healthy cooking programs. I helped to create a healthy cooking program at the college where people learn the basics of how to put meals together that are practical and healthy. And we did that for the student to show them that healthy eating could also be tasty too and easy to be put together. So you're right, there has to be a practical element to incorporate these concepts into one's lifestyle, or else it ain't gonna work. Whether you're in a corporation, a private setting, or just your own lifestyle.
I'm glad that you brought that down to us, broke that down to us, and explained that a little bit more. However, I am going to jump down to nutrition in just a second.
Yes.
So in your expert opinion, how can someone begin their wellness journey if they're just getting started? Let's just say they're new to maybe like exercising, or if they're new to just the overall wellness journey altogether, because self-care is a big thing now.
Right.
So in your opinion, where what would you suggest if they're just getting started?
Well, I always say be realistic.
Okay.
Start out small.
Okay.
So if you want to,
It's still early in the new year.
That's right. But a big mistake people make is they think, all right, I've got to lose 30 pounds in a month or in a week.
Yeah.
It's going to be realistic. It's small changes. Like, for example, instead of having soda every day, maybe incorporate water.
Okay.
Little things like that make a big difference in your health. Okay. Instead of fried foods, maybe baked, broiled, or grilled foods. Okay. Little changes, you see, and you're not putting yourself on a diet, so to speak. Okay. You're putting yourself on a lifestyle that you're going to embrace gradually and do gradually. So just little changes can make a big health gain or a big health difference. And that's what the wellness movement is based on. It's not dieting. It's improving your overall health, your energy and stamina, no matter your age or your limitations.
Okay. All right. Okay. So in your expert opinion, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the health and wellness industry overall?
Well, they think that exercise has to be complex, or sometimes it's viewed as punishment rather than viewed as something not only enjoyable, but you can have fellowship with it. Yeah. You can reduce stress and anxiety with it, that it improves energy and stamina and immune system, and to embrace exercise in its simplest form and build on it. So if you're starting out, for example, with a walking program, walk for 5 minutes a day. Walk with a friend or a family member or someone that you're in a relationship with, someone to converse with and to do. And before you know it, the 5 minutes are up and you've had a great conversation. And then you build on that foundation every 3 weeks, because it takes about 3 weeks to be a habit. It does. So you embrace exercise as a way of relaxation, as a way of fellowship, as a way of enjoying just being in life and being in it and being present, but not as a form of punishment. So instead of walking for like an hour a day and starting out, you walk out for 5 minutes 3 days a week and build on that. Then it becomes 10 minutes, 3 days a week. And the end of 6 weeks, you build it to 20 minutes. And if you do it with a friend or a support group, it's fun and the time goes by quickly. And you've brought oxygen into the system, you've relaxed the body and mind, and you've enjoyed the time that you did it rather than saying, oh, I got to get it done.
As somebody who looks at exercise as a chore, or a cruel and unusual punishment from time to time.
I'm glad you're being honest.
Because I think that we live such a sedentary lifestyle
Right.
here in Western culture that we don't see or understand the true benefits
Correct.
of movement.
Well
Like
said.
movement is life.
Well
Like
said, yeah.
you know, if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Very good. I like that. Yeah.
And you have to be able to move and exercise and get your body in just in a routine of being active
Right.
and not seeing it as
Punishment.
That's
That's
an
right.
unusual punishment.
That's
And
true.
I want to ask you a question also about exercise. In your opinion, would you say to do exercises that you like? Because I noticed that I know for myself when I do exercises that I cannot stand, that I do not like, I tend to not
Want to do it. That's
yeah,
right.
I'm not regular at it.
Right.
So what is
That's
your
a good
opinion?
point. Well, you know, a lot of times the fitness industry makes you think if you don't do this type of exercise or physical activity because it's trendy, you're not being fit. And the thing is to understand the importance of exercise science, that when you're using large muscle groups continuously, whether it's raking the leaves, push mowing the lawn,
Okay.
sweeping the sidewalk,
Okay.
walking, hiking, something that uses large muscle groups continuously, like just marching in place or sitting in a chair and moving your legs up and down.
Okay.
That's all exercise. So first understand the science of it. It's using muscle groups continuously that brings oxygen in the system to relax the body and mind. It could be in the form of aerobic, like walking, swimming, cycling, marching in place or sitting in the chair and marching, or it could be resistance training, using light weights continuously or rubber bands resistance, form of strength training or body resistance.
Okay.
So it's something that you noted that you can do and you feel the benefit of it. But again, the key is to start out gradually and build a foundation which is practical for your lifestyle. Because if it's not practical, you ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Keisha?
That's so
It's
true.
just, people won't do it. You know, I've taught for 33 years in a community college, right? And you were there in the beginning. If I didn't reach the students where they are, wellness would not take off. It would not be practical. It would not be implemented. And that's the same for adults. And that's the same. It's the same for people of all ages and all abilities. It has to be within their ability. And you noted it has to be something they like doing.
Okay.
But the key is to understand the concept of exercise science. It's using muscle groups to bring oxygen in the system.
So can you, I want to pivot just a second.
Okay.
I want to switch over into talking about nutrition for a second.
Okay.
Can you tell me how important is nutrition in overall health? And do you believe that nutrition is one size fits all?
Excellent question. Again, people look at nutrition in many ways, sometimes not in a good way. They see food as the enemy. Like I said, when I initiated the wellness program many years ago, using Dr. Dean Ornish's study in reversing heart disease, and then I started looking at other cardiologists that built on his study in reversing the disease process. You have to eat. You have to eat to be healthy. You have to eat for vitamins and minerals. You have to eat for energy and stamina. And you have to eat to unclog your arteries. It's the types of food. So we have to educate students of all ages on the importance of good nutrition and how it not only gives you vitamins and minerals and builds up the immune system, it can slow down and in many cases, let's be practical here, and in some cases, reverse the disease process. So in the area of heart disease, we now know that a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, have the type of fiber and nutritional benefit to build up the immune system with vitamins and minerals, but also helps the liver to raise the good cholesterol in the body and lower the bad. And you combine that with exercise, and it becomes a powerful tool in the area of disease prevention, especially heart disease, lowering blood pressure, lowering cholesterol, getting the blood glucose levels, and good sources of protein like lean sources like chicken, turkey, fish, lean red meat, good fats. All that is very nutrient dense to build up the immune system and to protect us against disease, specifically in the area of heart disease and in other cases, diabetes. And those are like the main problems we're now seeing, even in our youth, type 2 diabetes and elevated blood pressure. I'll tell you a quick story. For many years, almost 30 years, I did the conditioning program with the baseball team at Shelton State. Coach Bobby Sproul is the coach, and still to this day, he's out, Dunmead, he's still there. But in the fall, he would bring the baseball players into the wellness center, and we would do their conditioning program. We integrated circuit training, flexibility, even progressive muscle relaxation techniques, stress management, all that. And we also did nutrition education.
Okay.
Now, these are baseball players, and I wanted to do some biofeedback with them so they could see the importance of nutrition, not only my interpretation and lecture to them, but for sport performance, but also in enhancing, their health. So these baseball players, they're lean and mean, good shape, great conditioning program we had for them, and Coach Sproul did the same after. And we took their blood pressure. Every one of the ball players, especially maybe one or two, did not have elevated blood pressure. Every one of them had at least 140 over 90 or higher. Now, these are baseball players. The average age is what, 20 years of age? So they're lean and mean, they're very youthful. They were shocked to see that they had elevated blood pressure. So what we did, and here's the good news with blood pressure and nutrition, you can slow down, even reverse that blood pressure elevation process within 3 weeks. We educated them, instead of fried foods, which they ate a lot of because they figured, oh, I'm an athlete, I can eat whatever I want. They realized they couldn't now after they saw the blood pressure. We had them educated on eating baked, broiled, or grilled foods. Now, we also told them, look, we understand that you've got to go when you're on the road to these fast food restaurants, but all of them now have grilled chicken instead of fried chicken that you can choose from.
Right.
They also have baked potatoes and as well as French fries. You choose that. And they also have salads and vegetables. Make those dietary changes. When you're at home, do the same. Just eliminate the fried food, not diet, and substitute baked, broiled, grilled instead of French fries, baked potato, or sweet potato, salad, or vegetables. And I said, I'm not going to check your blood pressure again in 3 weeks unless you did these dietary changes. Now, they were all curious, so they all did the dietary changes. Now, they were also exercising, hydrating with water, because we had talked to them, instead of soda, more water as well as sports drinks, but hydrate primarily within the first hour water. So we were educating them in sport nutrition for performance, but also disease prevention. On the 4th week, we took their blood pressure. Everyone had under 140 over 90, every one of them. So they instantly saw that feedback, that change of diet had health measures that improved not only their athletic performance, their circulation, their energy, but also their blood pressure. And what did they do? They shared that information with their family, their parents, the people that they love, their girlfriends. So that's wellness education. It's not about selling a product. It's educating to understand the medical models, the science of it, but as it relates to their health, to work with their physicians, if needed, and to understand that nutrition is not about dieting, it's about improving your performance. So why can't we eat healthy? Why can't we eat like athletes? Think about what we all do in the course of a day. Many of us are caregivers, taking care of family, working. Some are working more than one job. That's athletic in nature. So why can't we eat healthy to improve our daily performance? And so that's how I view wellness, not as punishment, but as something that illuminates and improves our quality of life as we age. So, just like the baseball player.
How can that relate to particularly people who may be midlifers or millennials? How would that relate to people who are not necessarily students and young, but people who are, you know, who have responsibility?
Well, 30 and over, is that the group?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Keisha, with that age group, you're going to see the differences significantly, very quickly.
Okay.
When you make those small changes. And many of us should be working with our physicians. So if you do a blood lipid profile, where you go for your annual exam, and your doctor, you know, checks your cholesterol, checks your low density lipoprotein, your good cholesterol too, HDL, and they also look at your vitamins and minerals in your body. You'll notice the changes in the numbers, and that's motivation right there.
Yeah.
Besides, it improves your energy. It improves your complexion. It improves your stamina. That's motivation right there to make those dietary changes. But again, it's got to be done gradually. Because if it's not, it's not sustainable. A lot of these fad diets, and I think I educated you on this a long time ago.
Yeah.
A lot of the fad diets are not sustainable, and you noted that in class. And so you're absolutely right. Anything to the extreme, you're going to get results in a short period of time, but can you stick with it? And so that's the key. It's integrating small changes into your lifestyle gradually that will make big health differences.
So jumping back to some of the people that were within the corporations that you helped, I wanted to know just in your area of expertise, what are some of the common mistakes you think people make when it comes to their diet? What are some of the common mistakes that you see now I know you're from up north.
Yeah.
She's from up
but
north.
I've been in the South since 1977, and I came here.
Yeah, that's why.
Through the athletics department with Coach Brian.
But you still haven't lost your accent.
So. You don't think so? I think I get a little Southern accent.
Absolutely
no?
not.
Keisha?
Absolutely not. So I know that like down here, like we just eat different. We eat different. We just do. And so it is very, very hard for people from the South who've grown up eating a certain way.
Good point.
Now it's like we're being told, okay, now, you know, I heard somebody say this on a movie I was watching recently. So he said, this is the avocado toast generation.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of avocado toast.
And it's good for you.
Yeah. So
only if you like it. Never force yourself into a food. That's the first thing. Just because, you know, people trend it. If you don't like the taste of it, find something else that's healthy and eat it. Again, it's kind of like fitness. Whatever's trending, people go, well, that must be the right thing to do.
Yeah,
you got to find what works for you.
But
go ahead.
But this is the thing, though.
Go ahead.
Like growing up, a lot of people here in the South, you know, I mean, for instance, you have like the restaurant Jacks, right?
Mhm.
They represent like, you know, what we eat in the South,
Right.
especially for breakfast, like
Right.
bologna biscuits or sausage biscuits,
Right.
grits, eggs,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Plenty of butter and cheese,
Right.
okay? Because it's not a Southern breakfast unless it has plenty of butter,
Uh-huh.
cheese, and sodium.
Uh-huh.
Now we know better that, you know, a lot of those things aren't good for you. But I literally, you know, have people that are, you know, in my circle that have been eating this way for so long, and
Right.
they are on medications and things of that nature. And they feel like just because they take their high blood pressure medication or their heart medication or, you know, just whatever they're taking medication, their
Sure.
diabetes medication.
Sure, that they're
they
covered.
can- Yeah,
Right.
they can eat
That's right.
whatever
If
they
want.
want to
Right.
eat. But I mean, like, how do you? I know education is like the number one thing. So I guess this must be like a two-part question. So how do we get to the point where we actually make that change? Even with the proper education.
Right.
Like how do we
Keisha,
get there?
if I had that answer, I'd be a millionaire right now. You see what I'm saying? I do understand human nature.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in the business of understanding wellness and education if I didn't. Here's the thing. You can't force, and I never try to shame.
Mhm.
What I've always done is provide tools.
Mhm.
And people find when they're ready, and that's the key, you know, because it's not easy being me. I'm just going to tell you, I came from a Mediterranean background. My family loved food, and everything surrounded food and
Yeah.
family. And that's where I relate to the Southern culture, because it does have the fellowship. And I get that. So again, I always say, embrace food, everything in moderation. And so instead of eating that type of diet every single day, it should be once a week. And it becomes a treat rather than every day. And that you're working towards and not eliminating, but moderating.
Mhm.
And that's the key with wellness. It's not saying, oh, after all these years, I'm gonna get rid of all that. And then looking at what's healthy. Well, in that dietary plan that you discovered or mentioned, that's part of the culture, eggs are very healthy. Eggs are an important part of protein, especially as we age.
Mhm.
It's got cholesterol, which is important. Now, if you know, I love grits. So what you do is you find ways to make that meal healthier on a daily basis. And then that unhealthy way, once a week or once a month. So it's not every day taxing your system where your body and the medication can't break it down.
Yeah.
And so, and I always tell my students of all ages, you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something they have to do for themselves. There is nothing I can do other than provide the education. Now, if you look at the Mediterranean dietary plan, which is embraced by the American Heart Association, American Cancer Society, even the Diabetic Association, it's all wonderful foods. And the thing is in meal preparation, is to use less sodium, more herbs and spices. You can use olive oil along with butter. You see, and it's making these small changes. You know, you can have eggs two days a week and enjoy it. I know people must see me out and they go, oh, Dr. Murphy's eating eggs. Well, eggs are good source of nutrition. It's just making small dietary changes within that framework that you can enjoy and eat. And then once a week or once a month, enjoy that breakfast that you talked about. And you know, when people do that, they go, you know, I really didn't want that fried and that gravy. I really didn't need it because I felt satiated with the eggs and the grits and the whole wheat toast. You see what I'm saying? So it's not depriving, it's moderating. And you're right, it comes with education. And it comes with the understanding of what that education can do for your energy, stamina, immune system. And notably, Keisha, everyone that I've worked with that was on medication, when they made those changes, they used less medication, therefore they felt better and had less side effects. So it's something that people have to do, and they have to do their homework, they have to understand it and do what's right for them. Sure, there's gonna be people that won't make the change, and I never shame. That's their life, that's their choice, and I respect that. Because I've certainly worked with all types of folks, and I do respect that. But when they do make those changes, notably, they always come back and say, you know, my energy is improved, I lost weight without trying. My doctor said my blood, you know, lipid profile is improved. They've cut back down my medication, and some people, they've taken them off. That's for an MD to do, not for us, but to recommend. But these things do happen when people make changes.
So it sounds like to me the foundation, what I'm hearing you say, and you just correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing is the foundation of health is nutrition, proper nutrition.
For disease prevention.
For disease.
That's right.
Okay.
For disease prevention, that's my perspective.
Okay.
When I'm educating folks, I'm saying this will improve your cholesterol. This will improve your blood pressure. This will regulate your blood sugar. And I do it through nutrition education, exercise science, and then I bring in, you know, stress management techniques that they can incorporate into their lifestyle as well. It's a lifestyle change, but gradually.
Okay. All right.
It's not going to work if you take it all on, Keisha.
Yeah.
You know, and I get
that. That sounds like a really, really huge task.
It
sounds like a really huge task.
It is. But you do, when you do it gradually, like for example, in exercise, you exercise with my Zoom class whenever you can make it. And I'm like, good for you, Keisha. And then you do your own thing. That's what the exercise is good for you. That's on your time. And you feel the benefits of it. And then dietary changes for your health. You're working with physicians to regulate your health. That's all part of it. And everyone has to identify what are their health issues and concerns, and then make those changes appropriately for them.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to shift just a second. I want to shift into talking about mindfulness and stress.
I like that.
How can individuals manage stress in today's fast-paced society? What tools kind of would you recommend that we implement?
You know, mental health has improved in making it more mainstream to help others. We've seen athletes come out and talk about the importance of their mental health, not only to improve their athletic performance, but to improve, you know, survival and to navigate, as you said, in this fast-paced society. And they've encouraged people to talk about it. They've encouraged people to seek help if it's needed, a medical intervention if it's needed. And they've encouraged people to say, first of all, it's nothing to be ashamed of. And so that has been very positive in the mental health stress management movement, for everyone to see, hey, this is for all of us. It's not just for athletes, or it's not just for someone who's dealing with anxiety or depression. It's for all of us to benefit from, because all of us are dealing with life and its pace. So we're looking at mental health as a way to navigate life. And that's important to embrace that concept. And when you do that, it's very mainstream. And people are not afraid to talk about it and embrace it and to do those things that make them do positive changes in their lifestyle, not the negative behaviors, such as, self-medicating with illegal drugs or doing things that are high-risk behaviors that can harm their health.
Mhm.
It's more benign now. We're seeing things like diaphragmatic breathing
Okay,
to help reduce that stress by getting oxygen in the system.
that's really helpful.
And exercise does that too as well, Keisha. That's why you feel good after you exercise. You're in a better mood.
Yeah.
And your sister Latanya is in a better mood after she exercises. It's bringing that oxygen into the system to release those beta endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that relax the body and mind. And people can see that response almost instantly within those first few minutes of simple diaphragmatic breathing, where it's known as belly breathing, where
Okay.
you breathe past your chest
Mhm.
into your belly and you gently exhale. And after you do that for about a minute, then you can do the more advanced breathing of diaphragmatic breathing, where you breathe in deep into the belly, you hold that for 4 seconds, and then you gently exhale. And that has a very calming effect on the body and mind, because you're bringing the oxygen into the system, you're releasing those feel-good chemicals, and it does help in a way to reduce anxiety. And it's simple, and it can be done virtually anywhere.
Okay.
But I do want to say this,
Okay.
okay, because I've worked with a lot of students that have gone through some tough changes in life. If the anxiety or the depression is overwhelming and the coping techniques are not working, they need to get that medical intervention and guidance from healthcare professionals that can help them with the right medicine to regulate brain chemistry and to get them out of that feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. That's when it can be drastic. So never let it get that far. Again, education is the key to know the mind and body and to make those proper changes that's right for you and that's going to help you, whether it's simple coping techniques and or getting that medical intervention from healthcare professionals that can work with you.
Okay, awesome. And I'll just put this side note in.
Tell me.
Things have really, I'm glad things have really changed and progressed as much as they have, to allow a space for us to talk about mental health and well-being.
Yes.
Because for a long time, I do believe that people have suffered in silence, especially people belonging to minority groups, Black and brown people in particular. And I'll say this much, another thing about being here in the South, we kind of, Jesus is our answer for everything. And I've heard so often people say, well, just pray about it and this, that, and the third. And I believe that's why so many people suffered for so long, suffered longer, because they didn't have the proper education or enough education to understand that there are some people that do have chemical imbalances. There are some people that actually need to be leveled out. There are some people who may have imbalances in their gut health that actually, affects their mood and their brain and things of that nature. So I just want to say that I am also glad we aren't where we want to be, but we are definitely further than what we
In the
were.
right direction.
Yeah,
And-
as far
and
as
may I-
our ability to be able to talk about it.
Well, Keisha,
And not
you
make it
asked.
so taboo.
That's right. And here's the thing, everything in moderation. If you look at Dr. Dean Ornish's study, when he was talking about stress management in the early 80s, in reversing heart disease, he talked about spirituality and the importance of either meditation or prayer.
Yes.
The power of prayer is relaxing to the body and mind.
And that was
In
my
spirituality.
too.
Yes,
That was my next
it
question.
has its place, but again, the point you're making, no matter if we're exercising every day and we're eating healthy and we're doing the coping techniques that right for us, whether it's prayer or other types of coping techniques, if it's not working, know your body, and then you know when to get that medical intervention, whether it's for heart health, whether it's for brain health, or get that proper physical therapy or orthopedist to look at whether it's bone or muscle health. So it's important to see where medical intervention fits in the wellness movement.
Yeah.
You know, because I would be foolish if I said, you know, eating right, exercise, and stress management is the cure-all, end-all. It's not. And so you have to know your body, like you said, when it's working and when it's not, and when to get that intervention.
It reminds me, Wyatt and Latanya did a conference
Yes, we did.
last Saturday.
And it was
about 2
well
weeks ago.
received, right?
Yeah, and I did the self-care portion of the conference. And so when I came in to do the self-care portion of the conference, I let them know that, you all got so much information. I actually gave them homework as well.
I like that.
Even though I wasn't
into that. Yeah, you gotta do your homework.
Yeah,
that's right.
though I wasn't gonna be able to check it and review it with
Right.
them, but that was just something for them to work on later. But I told them that all of this information you guys got is so wealthy and so helpful, but none of it will work if you don't have a prayer life, if you don't have that mindfulness that you do on the side. You know what I mean? Like you have to have a moment where you are still, you have to have that moment where you meditate, pray, or whatever it is that you're able to connect with your higher power or your inner being, whatever works for you.
Right.
You just have to be able to connect on a deeper level so that you're checking in with yourself. So you're able to gauge where you are spiritually and mentally, emotionally, physically, and all the things, right?
Well said. Yes.
So I want to shift gears for a second.
Okay.
I want to move back to the physicality. I would like to know what's your opinion on fitness trends such as HIIT, yoga, or intermittent fasting? And do you think that they are sustainable in the long run? Like I have a whole bunch of horror stories, but we're not here to talk about
Well,
them.
that's okay. Well, people may relate to it. But first of all, the HIIT is high intensity training.
Okay.
And so high intensity training I did with athletes.
Okay.
Once every 10 days. Okay. With the trend, they're doing it almost every time they're going into the gym. And what happens when you do that? You're not allowing the muscle to recover. And so many of these folks don't have a good fitness foundation, and many of them get injured. So they keep your orthopedic doctors and chiropractors in great financial health. So, again, it's knowing your body. I do see the value of high intensity training. It does have its place, but you have to get the person who's there, you have to get them with a strong fitness foundation before they engage in it. And you want to do it once every 10 days, not 3 or 4 days a week where the body's not able to recover and you're setting them up for injury. So no, I don't see it as something that's sustainable if they do it that way. But I do see it as a valuable tool if it's done once every couple of weeks or once every 10 days, once they have a strong fitness foundation. As far as yoga, I like yoga. And it can be sustainable. What has to be done with yoga is some people are more flexible than others. Some people have better range of motion in their joints and have better flexibility, and some don't. So there has to be modifications for those individuals that don't have that range of motion and are more tight in the muscle. And there are instructors in yoga that know how to make those modifications. And those individuals are smart enough to know, hey, I need that modification. And so they don't get hurt. So again, fitness is about longevity, sustainability. You want to do it not to get injured. You have to be smart enough not to get injured, to know your body first of all, and your instructor needs to know the modifications. And that's important. They're going to be certified and knowledgeable with all ages and limitations. As far as intermittent fasting, I don't recommend it if you're an athlete. I don't recommend it if you're diabetic.
Okay.
So I'm about improving athletic performance, and intermittent fasting may make you feel sluggish and tired. For some people, they swear by it, and if it works for them, that's fine. But for certain health conditions, I don't see its benefit long term. So again, it's knowing your body, knowing how you have to perform optimally, and and how you embrace it. And I would also say with intermittent fasting, especially with older folks, talk to your physician first before you embrace it. Some physicians may say, if you do it this way, it will help you. Some may say, you've got these conditions, it will hurt you. So again, it's going back to the beginning, Keisha, when you said is wellness painted with a wide brush. It's not. It's individual.
Yeah.
And
so it's not one size fits all.
That's right. Okay. And that's how it should be addressed.
Okay. So I know people that have done it. Like, I have tried it, but I didn't like it. I have arthritis, so no, it is not for me.
That's right.
I know some people who have gotten injured from doing HIIT exercises. Now, yoga, I love yoga. I pull the muscle doing yoga. Intermittent fasting, that's a horror story, and I may share that, but she definitely knows like all of these online diets and online fasts. Y'all, please be careful when you are getting your health and wellness information. Now, I know we putting this out on the internet, right? So she's definitely recommended that you all go and see your own personal physician as far as, any type of medications and things of that nature. However, after following people online and doing these fad diets and getting, these health and wellness coaches that aren't really certified, they can just call themselves a coach on the internet. I ended up having several horror stories from just doing some stuff that I found online, doing different herbs, buying from different websites. So
I'm glad you're sharing that, Keisha. So, I mean, that's important for you to share that.
Yeah. You remember couple of my
and I kind of reminded you not to go in that direction. But sometimes experience is the best teacher. And so no matter, and that's what I'm saying about wellness, it's a form of education. I can put out that information to them. They have to experience it for themselves. And that's how I did it with my students. And if they wanted to go in another direction, I said, I did not judge. Sometimes the life experience is the best teacher. So,
and it can be the best and the worst teacher, because I also did the intermittent fasting thing, because that's a big thing online. That's trendy, and things of that nature. So I also tried that. I have several horror stories with intermittent fasting. I literally wrecked my metabolism.
And you got hot,
I messed myself up, y'all. My whole purpose of doing intermittent fasting initially was to jumpstart weight loss. That was the first time I started doing intermittent fasting. And then the second time I started doing it, I was doing it to balance hormones. Now, a lot of really crazy things happened. One, I fell in a calorie deficit. It meant, like I said, it messed my hormones up. My hair started falling out, and I had all kind of mineral and vitamin deficiencies.
Right.
And it was just, I suffered bone loss. My bone density wasn't.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was rough. And so, and I think, a lot of times too, people can mess themselves up worse, especially if they don't know if they have underlying health conditions.
Exactly. Right.
I had no business doing the stuff that I seen off the internet, but I just tried it because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna try it. You know, what can hurt? The worst thing that happened, I'm still getting, I told her, I told Dr. Murphy that I have an appointment on tomorrow with the GI doctor. And so I've been going to nutritionists and dietitians, and they put me on a pathway to gain my weight back because intermittent fasting, like I said, messed up my metabolism. I lost my appetite. My body did not, I think it just stopped wanting food after a while.
That's
what
right.
I mean?
That's what happens.
So you all just make sure that you're very careful about who you follow and what you're doing as far as taking vitamins and supplements and diet trends and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure you're using caution. And if I were you, I would definitely check with my doctor before I start any type of changes as far as my diet is concerned.
Well said, Keisha.
What are some practices or habits that you would suggest that are essential for people to maintain as we age?
Well, I love that question because, you know, some simple changes, as I said earlier, can improve complexion.
Okay.
Can improve. That's right. Can improve your immune system. Can improve your energy. All of that is associated with youth. And so, why not hydrate instead of sodas, right? Or sugary beverages, or lots of the sugary sweet drinks. Why not hydrate with water? And so that's important, first of all, for energy, stamina, your mitochondria at the cellular level. That improves all that for you, as well as your complexion. And if you know models drink water, now again, let's not go to the extreme. What is recommended? Well, if you go scientific or gastroenterologist, they at one time recommended half of your body weight in ounces of water. So if you were 100 pounds, right? What's half of that? 50 ounces of water. So, but now they're saying that has switched. Excuse me. They're now recommended 6 to 8 glasses of water a day for hydration and that. Another thing that we talked about for athletes and athletic performance, for your skin, your hair, your nails, all those things with aging, right? Instead of fried foods that affect your skin, your nails, and hair. Bake, broil, or grill. Again, that's motivation for certain people to make those changes, to be more youthful, to have energy, better complexion. And you see those little things, get more good fats in your diet. It's learning to eat to be healthy. That not only slows down the disease process, but slows down the chronological age process. That gives you energy and stamina, getting more good fats in your diet. Find the fats that you like in that category and incorporate it. And those little changes improve your energy. And with that energy comes, you have more ability to do circulation exercises or large muscle group exercises or strength training or balance or yoga.
Mhm.
Find that activity that works for you and start out 1 day a week and gradually. So you're improving your muscles and your bones, which goes down the aging process of your body. You're improving your complexion. You're improving your circulation to your skin, your nail, your hair. So all of that is important to your health. So what does it go back to? Nutrition. Not for weight loss or extreme measures, but for good health, which covers all those bases.
Wow. You know what? I just realized that we have not talked about sleep. How important is sleep? Because you may fuss at me, but I literally have been up for 24 hours.
Oh, no, Keisha. Now, that's not good on our skin either, although may I say you look great.
Thank you.
You look great, Keisha.
Thank you.
But you know, sleep is where your hormones do their homework. Sleep is where, you know, your body is able to get into homeostasis, to break down the nutrients that you did to help the body recover. It helps your muscles and your bones to work together to do their job. It's a form of recovery that your body goes through, and it needs it. Now, I know it's recommended for people to get, especially as we age, 7 to 8 hours, even a little bit more, or nap throughout the day. There are some people that just can't get it that way. So I know some people who do well on 6 hours of sleep or 5 hours of sleep.
5 to 6.
There you go. And then nap maybe for 15 minutes during the day, or find that private time to just take a little nap, relax the body and mind 15, 20 minutes throughout the day, a couple of times, or just one time a day. So again, it's like anything else in wellness, you find what works for you. But sleep is essential to let the body heal and recover, and to help, you know, the body's systems to do their functions more effectively.
Yeah, because everybody's body has their own
clock.
Yeah,
That's
the
right.
amount of sleep that they feel rested.
And their rhythm. That's right.
Yeah, so
that's right.
So
that's a good point.
That makes sense. So let me ask you this. We talked about sleep. And I know for me, because I'm an old millennial, Gen X in there. So a lot of my generation tend to, and the younger generation as well behind me, tend to spend a lot of our time on our cell phones.
Right.
And I know for me, my cell phone has been a huge problem in me getting my sleep because I'm addicted to my phone.
Sure.
Horribly addicted to my phone. So I wanted to ask you, in your own opinion, how do you feel like screens have really disrupted our health and wellness, or do you feel at all like it has contributed to the decline of our health and wellness in Western society?
Well, I feel both. I feel it contributes and I feel it takes away.
Okay.
So again, it's like any other kind of addiction. If you have an addiction to something, whether it's food, beverage, so you have to work at it. And what we do now know, and the research shows it, and it's all ages, you know, people where we love our technology and how we can use it to benefit us. So we have to be practical in understanding it, just like they say, if you want to get better sleep, don't have caffeinated beverages after a certain time of day. Well, that's the same thing with technology. Don't have it by your bedside. Don't sleep with the TV on. We're all guilty of different things. Use it for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, but integrate it throughout the day where it doesn't disrupt your activities. And you use it, and then after a certain time, you put it completely aside so you can get sleep, you can get that REM. They talk about that deep sleep. And like you said, everyone is different on how much is good for them. But to put the technology away 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. It's the same thing gastroenterologists recommend. If you want a good sleep, they say don't eat a heavy meal 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So don't use technology 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed. And that will help you get a better sleep. You can enjoy it during the day and integrate it through your lifestyle and use it as you see fit. But, you know, and then parents are seeing with children, they want to have more family time.
Yeah.
So they're finding other things that motivate them to do things with the children outdoors or family trips and family vacation or at the meals. They take it away where the children see the benefit of interaction with human beings and family and friends and nature and fitness, and then enjoy their toy. You see?
So we basically need to set boundaries with technology.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well said, Keisha. And we have to, because then the technology takes over our life.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. We want to be in control. I
Yeah.
think the more in control we are in decision making,
Yeah.
whether it's eating, exercise, nutrition, medical intervention, technology, the more in control we are, the better we are mentally and physically.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we are about to get ready to close, but I'm gonna ask her
This
a
has
couple
been
of-
fun.
Yeah.
Keisha.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her a couple more questions before we get ready to close out. How do you build a routine that incorporates health, wellness, and self-care without feeling overwhelmed? It's so easy to feel overwhelmed today.
And that's a good point, because people take on too much.
Okay.
So if it's in the area of exercise, again, I know I've gone back to this several times. Start out small, start out easy,
Okay.
and start out maybe 1 day a week and build on it
Okay.
for a short amount of time. That's the thing. What's the number one excuse about exercise? I don't have the time. Everyone's got 5 minutes.
You can walk in place.
There you go.
You can squat.
We've
We've
done the chair workout, you know? All right, so that's exercise. Start out small. In nutrition, again, gradual changes. The first thing, if you drink a lot of sugary beverages or sodas, start integrating more water into the diet. Keep it around 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, not more than that. And substitute it. And then maybe have 1 cup of coffee with your sweet treat
Okay.
a day,
Okay.
and then have your water, or instead of your 3-4 sodas, have 1 soda, but mostly water.
Okay.
So again, it's making small changes instead of fried foods, which is huge in saturated fat and clogging the arteries. Don't eliminate food in the foods that you had fried. Enjoy now baked, broiled, or grilled.
What are your views on the air fryer?
Air fryer, I love it. I think it's great and it's
Okay.
practical. So little changes like that will make a significant difference in circulation, in health, in cholesterol, in regulating blood sugar. Try to find ways to get more fruit and vegetables into your dietary plan as a treat. It's eating to be healthy, not diet. Okay.
So those things are part of.
Oh, absolutely.
So are those things a part of self-care?
I would say all of it is self-care, don't you?
Yeah.
And in managing stress, at something as simple as diaphragmatic breathing, or prayer, or meditation, something that relaxes the body and mind that you can do on a daily basis for 5-10 minutes. Even that nap time, that quiet time. All those are beneficial, and it's done gradually. You can do those things every other week and find one of those areas to integrate into your lifestyle. Or you could do exercise 1 day, stress management the other day, and find nutritional choices for 2 days of that week.
Okay.
And then see how you feel in making those changes, and then build on it. Don't try to do it all at once.
So, what do you feel about like the little packets that you add to your water? Like, what are your views about that?
Just make sure it's not an artificial sweetener.
Okay.
You see, I'm not into artificial sweeteners.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing about sugar, and I've looked at it from a biochemical and a molecular response to the body. Dr. Kay Standifer, she's a molecular biologist, and she recommended in her studies and in her research that women can burn 100 calories of sugar a day effectively. So, and men can burn 150 calories of sugar effectively. So if you want to put a little sugar into your water that does not exceed 100 calories for your beverages, and you get that water in your body, that's a way to start. And then you gradually cut back on the amount of sugar you put in.
Okay. And I like natural sugars as well. Like,
your body breaks it down. Good point.
I haven't used regular sugar in years.
Uh-huh.
But I always use honey. I've been using honey for years.
Uh-huh.
And so, but what I can't understand is I just, maybe you can help me with this. Why is my honey from like 5 different countries? I never understood that. So now,
well, you were going to go environmentally now. What's happening is, you know, unfortunately, because of herbicides and pesticides and pollution, you know, the bees are the productions of honey.
Okay.
And so, in places where they have less pollution, they have more productivity. Okay. And so, in the honey industry, they're going with, where can you get honey to be produced? Okay. And now, you know, I just learned from Richard Scott. He's our meteorologist and local beekeeper. Yeah. He made us aware that because of the cold weather that we had in Alabama during this winter months, the extreme cold, that it had a detrimental effect on the harvesting of the honey. And so, for example, he used to be able to get us the honey, you know, in May, in the early months of May. Now he's trying to get it in June. So that's the same concept of where we can go to get other places of honey. Okay. It's all related to the environment, whether it's climate or pollution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was always curious about that. I'm like, why is it from like 5 different countries? But so I try to get it from the farmer's market.
But you can get it locally, right?
Yeah, but I don't always. I'm not a morning person, so I don't always get it.
It goes quick. Yeah, it does locally.
It does.
That's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
So our last and final question is, if there was one piece of wisdom that you can share with the audience, piece of wisdom or advice, what would it be?
Well, I think we gave them a lot of advice, but you know, when it comes to wellness, it's got to be an individual thing. What works for you, and then enjoy the fellowship of being around family and friends. It's so important to get the feeling of support, sense of belonging. You know, in good times and tough times, and it will carry us well through life, Keisha.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it from Dr. Murphy herself, and I hope we'll be able to get her on again and ask her some more pressing questions. So you guys feel free to drop your questions or comments in the comment section below. Again, thank you, Dr. Milady Murphy, for coming along on this journey with me to do this podcast and give us some tips and advice on how we can manage our stress levels and our health and wellness during this very stressful time. Okay, thank you all so much for joining me here on this podcast, Conversations with Keisha, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.